And hey guys, if you're watching right now, I have my good friend Jill Hunter right now. I'm going to be interviewing her. So you guys are in for a real treat here. So we're just getting everything set up right now. So if you're watching on Facebook Live right now, just give us a few seconds there and we'll get everything going. Okay. Did it show up on your page, Jill?
Yes.
Okay,
And
perfect.
I'm, okay, it says it should share to my timeline, so
Okay,
everyone
perfect.
should be able
So
to watch it from my group.
yes, so awesome. So in that case, so for everyone watching this interview today, my name is Extus Justin, and today I'm going to be interviewing Jill Hunter. And Jill, she's an awesome person. She has an awesome business, and she has an awesome mission in terms of what she's doing in the whole healthcare kind of professional field. So I guess with that, Jill, tell us a bit about what it is that you do. Tell us who you help.
So I'm a pharmacist by trade, and one thing that I got frustrated with over my time being a pharmacist was people in healthcare are taught how to be a healthcare professional, but not how to be a manager or a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And now that everyone's responsible for numbers and KPIs are so common in healthcare, is that the managers tend to treat their people like a number. It's you need to produce this in a day or you're not valuable to me. And if I don't produce this, then they're going to replace me. And so what I help healthcare professionals do is learn how to lead with empathy and eliminate fear management from their culture. And when you do that, you watch your employee engagement skyrocket and you watch your productivity go through the roof. And that's what I love doing, is helping everyone want to come to work each day.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So tell me, how long have you been doing this? Yeah, how long have you been doing this?
So I've been doing this for the past year,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the most rewarding part of my career so far,
Mm-hmm.
is doing this. I like to change lives, and I like teaching. And when I'm teaching a healthcare professional how to do this, you can watch the light bulbs go off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's rewarding for me. It's like, it's nice to make money, but just knowing I'm helping people, and
Mm-hmm.
then everyone that works for them has a better life and a better job to come into.
Mm-hmm.
And that is so rewarding.
Nice. Now, what I guess in terms of what got you started, what did your journey start off before you got into doing what you do right now?
So I started off, when I got out of school, I got one offer, and it was
Mm-hmm.
not what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I got an offer from CVS. And so I was your typical CVS pharmacist, the white coat on, and actually, like the phone cricked in your ear like this, and you're typing and trying to fill prescriptions, and do that for
Mm-hmm.
12, 13-hour shifts. And
Oh, you
so
work 12
that's where
hour shifts?
so I worked in Connecticut when I first started, and the 13-hour shift, it was you'd go into the store at 8 a.m. and you'd leave at 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
You were paid straight through. So if you got to eat something, it was you'd grab a bite in between filling prescriptions or talking to people. You never got to sit down, and you were standing for 13 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
So that was how I started. And it's changed a lot now. You can call in your refills ahead of time, and you can do it through the phone or the internet. But back then, when I started, every refill was called in on the phone.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you say refill, you mean like everyone who called in and said, "Hey, I need a refill," you'd have to take the order and then
Yep.
fill it in yourself. Were you the one doing the refills as well while taking the orders as well?
Yep. So I'd often be talking on actually two phones. So I'd be like on holds with the doctor's office trying to get a refill for a patient who was out of refills,
Mm-hmm.
and then taking refills from another customer who needed a refill. I'd be on two phones. If the doctor picked up, I'd tell the customer, hang on for just a second, and talk to the doctor, and then get back to the patient.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my early days as a pharmacist. So I've come a long way, and the industry's changed a lot since then too.
Yeah. Now, in terms of what you do now, would you call yourself a consultant, a coach? How do you define what you do right now?
I'm more of a coach, is I help the individuals. I'm not going to come in and tell you how to change your practice. I think a consultant's more of how do you change the way you do business. And I think of myself more as a coach as, okay, so have you thought about doing things this way? Have you, why do you do things? Why do you do this? Why do you treat your employees like this? Have you thought about it from their point of view? And I try and get people to shift their mindset. So I take that more as a coach's role as opposed to a consultant. Because I'm not going to come in and put together a plan and say, this is what you need to do and walk away. I want to hold your hand as you go through the process. And when you hit a bump and something doesn't go as expected, come back to me and ask, well, I did this. This is what you suggested, and this is what happened. And then we could figure out whether it was the wrong thing to do at the wrong time, or your delivery was wrong, and how to fix it so that it was better in the future. So more of a coaching style.
Yeah, so you ultimately coach, you're not going in there setting plans and saying, hey, you should do this way, here's a game plan. It's more based on seeing what's happening and then getting feedback and then helping tweak from there, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now, what got you into, would you consider yourself a natural coach? Would you?
Yeah, I found that over the years, so even at CVS years ago, before they had good training programs, new employees would come in and they would need to learn new things every day. And I took it upon myself to teach everyone I worked with one new thing every day. And that was just my style of management, is whether they wanted to or not. And I didn't care if the person, when I was in my 20s, I had technicians who were in their 50s working for me. And I would still try and teach them something new. Because if they're not learning every day, then they're dying. You need to be moving forward and learning new things and be engaged in your job, or you're not going to want to come to work every day. So I've always done that. And then as I spent 10 years running a department, an IV room department in a pharmacy, and most people would come in with no IV experience. And so I would have to teach them, and basically I use these coaching skills to get them over the fear of how do I do this? And I'm used to just having pills in front of me. What do you mean I have to make a solution in an IV? And that's scary to people. And so I had to coach them how to be calm, how to think through things and solve problems they've never seen before. So I think I've been coaching all my life and just wasn't getting paid for it.
Yeah, awesome. Now tell me this, because the leap you've taken to where you were employed and now you kind of run your own business, become an entrepreneur, would you say that's a total shift? Is it kind of like, is it similar or is it way different than what you did before?
It's very different than what I did before. I'm used to having a team of people around me, at least 20 people working around me at the same time, and being alone during the day when I'm creating some of the content is great because I can dig in and really get it done without interruptions. But boy, I miss being around people every day. And so that's something that I've had to get used to in being an entrepreneur and trying to transition from being in a pharmacy every day to working on my own.
Awesome. And so I guess for the healthcare professionals, like what's the biggest mistake you see that's made with your audience, with the individuals you want to help? What's that biggest mistake you see that if they just fix, it would solve a lot of the different problems that they face right now?
So the biggest mistake I see managers make is telling people what to do. So the best example is they just finished a project, and that project could have been 10 minutes or it could have been 10 weeks. And they come to the manager and say, I'm done. Here it is. What do I need to do next? And the manager spits something out and says, go do this, and tells them to go off in a direction to do it. And the employee says, okay, great. And they go back and they do it. The problem is the next time they're done with something, they then expect the boss to be able to tell them what to do. And
Hmm.
if the boss is busy in a meeting or off site for the day, that person sometimes will sit idle and not do much of anything because they're waiting to be told what to do. If you want to have an empowered workforce, you need to have them bring you ideas of what they think should be done next. You can either agree with it or challenge them on why they chose that over something else. And you can teach them how to, to figure out what's best for the business by the way you interact with them. And so training someone to think that way is difficult. And they may do it for a week or two. And then 3 weeks later, I watch them go bark orders again.
Hmm.
Like, what are you doing? These people aren't going to learn how to think for themselves. And then if you want to take a day off as a manager on vacation or something, you want to make sure that they know how to solve the problems when you're not there. And if you're always the one coming up with the solutions, then they're never going to learn that next level. They're not going to grow in what they're doing, and they're not going to be able to help you become a better functioning department, company, whatever it is that you're working towards.
Okay, perfect. So you're saying ultimately, the biggest mistake is kind of like come from a place of like creating dependence, where if you're always, whether it's barking orders or telling someone, hey, here's exactly what to do, when to do all these different things, you kind of create this type of dependency to where they're now dependent on you to tell them what to do. And if you don't show up to tell them what to do, they're like idling, twiddling the thumbs, not really, nothing proactive in a sense. So you're
Right.
walking from a frame of, for the organization to work, everyone needs to come from a place of um, more based on a kind of proactive mindset, which, and it starts off with the managers. The managers need to know how to kind of communicate with the employees and the different staff to make sure that they're not kind of micromanage or telling them what to do, but more coming from a place of giving them the power to let them come with the ideas and them show up with what solutions and what they think they should do, and then just kind of advise whether it's right or wrong, or whether it's good or not so good to do. Is that about right?
Yes, it is. And a lot of people take that control and that micromanagement
Mm-hmm.
to the nth degree, and they say, well, the only way they're going to do it is if I tell them what to do, and they don't think on their own. And that's because they've been yelled at too many times, or they've had their wrists slapped for thinking on their own. And you need to tell them it's okay and encourage that, and you're going to find that they actually get things done faster and can start working ahead, because once they start to put the pieces together what needs to be done during the day,
Right.
then they say, oh my gosh, well, if I did it this way instead of this way, I can get more done faster because I'm already kind of doing something similar here. Maybe if I stack this on it right after it instead of doing that later in the day, it'll work faster. And the people doing the work are the ones who are best at innovating how to get to the next level. And
Mm-hmm.
whether that's cutting out steps or just finding more efficiencies, they're the ones that are going to do it. You as a manager are not going to be the best person to figure out the best way to do something. And
Mm-hmm.
you need to lean on your staff to have them do that.
Yeah, I love it. So the next question I have is, what made you want to solve that problem? Because in my business, what I do, I basically help coaches, consultants, and basically get clients grow to 6, 7 figures within their businesses. And I realize they all come from a frame of there's something that they see, there's a difference they see in the world that things could be different, and they take this proactive approach of saying, okay, here's a hole or here's something I see that's missing or not there, and I want to take personal responsibility for helping either the community, your audience, your target market, your niche, whatever. I want to take personal responsibility to help them overcome that. So I guess what made you take on that challenge, which is wanting to help those specific individuals solve that specific problem? What made you want to go down this path?
So I found myself at the end of my last job saying, do I want to go back into another pharmacy and try and make the world better for those that I influence directly? And so if I only have 20 or 50 direct reports, then I'm only influencing the lives of those 20 or 50 people day to day. And I'm realizing that what's wrong in the healthcare industry is from almost every pharmacy in the country, every hospital where nurses work, doctors' offices, all of this is the same, in that people are not motivated to do 100% because they're being micromanaged and they aren't being engaged in what they're doing. And I said, I can really give back and do help more people by going into business for myself and training people. Then people move around in healthcare so much that in 2 years, some of the principles I taught someone in this company, they will have migrated to another company. Kind of the way that COVID-19 is spreading is that you get someone to do a good practice, they see how it works, they see how it helps. When they move into a new company and it's not being done that way, they make the suggestion or make the changes to then make the culture better there, and it starts to spread. And you end up with little pockets of great management across the country. And that's what I want to do. Is my mission is so big. I want to make every healthcare professional and anyone who works in healthcare want to come to work every day because it's a good place to work. They feel supported and they feel like they're growing and part of a bigger mission. And so if I took another job and worked for someone else, I realized I was only going to be able to influence those that worked with me. And that disappointed me because there are so many more people that could benefit from this way of management that I've perfected.
Mm-hmm. That is so brilliant. That is so brilliant. I love that. So ultimately, you're seeing that you could have taken the path, just keep doing what you've always done, which is working in the organizations and affecting those 15, 20, maybe 30 people you have direct access to. Or you could say, okay, how do I do this on a much larger scale and affect where it's like the whole, not just one business, but the whole kind of like on what do you call it, on a national level, almost on a global level in a sense, right?
Yeah.
That's some pretty
Yeah.
powerful stuff. Yeah. So the final question now becomes, who specifically would you want to connect with? Who in your, based on this message, who do you want this message to reach? Who would you say?
So I would love to, the people that I can help the most are healthcare professionals who are recently promoted into management, because I know you weren't given any training. I know that healthcare professionals are picked for management because they were a great individual contributor and they understand how things should work and they understand all the policies and procedures, and they're picked for management because of that, not because they have any experience actually leading people, managing people, or any of the other things that go along. Your boss is so busy with their job that they don't have time to help you become a better leader. And you ask questions for the first week or two, and then you start to feel like, well, I guess I'm supposed to know all this. And you start to doubt yourself. So I can come in and help you through that process. And those are the people that I think will be most influential, because everyone's looking to them. They were once a peer, now they're at a new level, and everyone's kind of giving them a little bit of grace, saying, okay, let them figure it out. And if I can help them figure it out faster, and they can really make a difference in their company and impact the lives that they touch. And that's what I like to do, is just make the world a better place for everyone.
I love it. Now, what's the best way to get in contact with you? So if someone who's listening to this message right now, they're like, okay, that sounds exactly like me. What's the best way to get into contact with you?
So I'm actually most active on LinkedIn. And so you can find me on LinkedIn under Jill-C-Hunter. And so that's the best way. I'm most active there. I am active on Facebook. Feel free to connect to me, DM me. Also, you can reach me on my website, So my website is upleveltolead.com. And so you can email on the contact form there, and you can reach out and contact me that way. And if you want my email, it's jill@upleveltolead.com. So any way you want to reach me, it'll be me reaching back out to you.
Perfect. Love it. Awesome, guys. So this was Jill's message here, Jill Hunter. So what I'll do as well too with this interview, it's going to be on YouTube, it's going to be on Facebook, but right below we'll have the link. So if you want to contact her, the link should be, if you're watching this on a replay or watching this as a video, it'll be right underneath the in the description section. So you'll be able to click, go to our website, email her, connect with her on LinkedIn, on Facebook, wherever, whatever your social media of choice is. Well, with that being said, hey, thank you so much, Jill, for being here. Do you have any final words before we sign off here?
So I want to thank you for this opportunity to go live with you in your Facebook group. And I want to say that, yes, I'm focused on healthcare professionals, but the principles that I have in management work for any type of manager. And so if you are interested in what I'm talking about, feel free to reach out to me. I spin a lot of my content just for healthcare professionals, but I can probably help you in what you're looking for. The other thing is, if your boss needs to hear what I'm saying, you can slip me their information and I can try and start to reach them to help you and make sure that your life is a little bit better at work too. So I'll take referrals on the sly if you need that too.
Yeah, love it, love it. Awesome, Jill. Well, hey, appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Enjoy, and we'll be in touch, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Awesome.